So the Yuji executioners are introduction of obviously Yuta Akotsu into the scene and into the manga of Jujutsu Kaisen popped right back into the story. Now that Naobito Zenin is officially deceased, we get my boy the GOAT, the top G himself, owner of Bugattis himself, the raging misogynist of the Zenin clan himself. We have Naoya. Now he's looking for Megami because he wants to basically commit a coup d'etat, and obviously that happens for some time until the GOAT himself, Yuta Akotsu, pulls up out of nowhere. So the death of Yuji. Okay, so we're gonna pretty much pick up where we left off. If you haven't seen my first video on, basically the start of the Culling Games, go watch my most recent video on this very topic, then come back here. Let's get into it. So we pretty much pick up exactly where we left off with the last chapter, as far as Yuji pretty much for the most part getting worked by Yuta. I'm not gonna lie, he does his best to try to, stave off the inevitable. He's doing his best, he's dodging, he's weaving, he's trying his best to predict his opponent, but obviously it's Yuta. Like, it's not gonna go as well as he wants it to, as much as he tries. Like, he's dealing with a special grade sorcerer who is literally on par with Gojo, at least as far as cursed energy, and actually surpasses Gojo in cursed energy. So essentially, he's pretty much signing his own death warrant. I'm not gonna hold you, it's looking pretty greasy for my boy Yuji. As much as I want to root for the boy, which I don't. I'm not gonna lie, my mentality has not changed. But yeah, he does his best to dodge, bob, and weave. And again, for the most part, he's playing keep away. He's not really doing much of anything to avoid Yuta, because he obviously can't. He tries charging in, but obviously that doesn't go so well. He tries getting in close, and of course that doesn't go so well. Pretty much most of what he does just doesn't go over well. And eventually, the inevitable happens. Yuji gets smoked almost with ease. Obviously your girl Rika comes out of nowhere, the queen of curses herself. Rika coming out of nowhere to come in with the aid and that supports and to initiate her jumping protocol. Obviously Yuta's be all like, oh, hold him down, I need to finish him off. And obviously Yuta, being the good submissive woman that she is, holds my boy Yuji, and of course Yuta initiates the finishing blow. Obviously, perfect thumbnail piece, by the way. But nevertheless, Yuta is successful in their bout to end their exchange. And honestly, I don't know where to scale Yuji in this moment, because he does a good job evading and trying his best to counter, but every counter obviously just gets deflected by Yuta's superior strength. But yeah, I don't know where to scale him. Moving on to the obviously the other half of this entire chapter review. Choso versus Naoya. Now, obviously, I believe Naoya is the superior fighter of the bunch, obviously, in my opinion anyway. I believe that Naoya, for the most part, was dominating this fight as far as like skill, mentality, etc. I think that for the most part, Choso just has a lot of interesting abilities that help him in this fight. For the most part, the one who's, most exhausted and most damaged is obviously Choso. We see that with just the art itself. So yeah, this shout out goes out to my boy right here. I'm not gonna bother trying to read that name, but yeah, it comes from my Miles Morales video, and he basically says this take would have been valid like 7 years ago. Calling it her Miles just a black Spider-Man is unfounded. The Miles in the Spider-Verse movies and Insomniac game grows, has flaws, and isn't just a copy of Spider-Man. He literally is still called Spider-Man, and in the comics he literally has repeated story arcs that Spider-Man already did, i.e. the Clone Saga, and many more. But that's just me though. Peace. For the most part, Naoya is pretty much just relaxed for the entirety of the fight, until he sees something that he's not used to seeing, and then he, just adapts to it. But in the middle of Choso getting greased by Naoya, top GM himself, something happens. Obviously, they have a conversation in a battle of ideologies as far as brothers is concerned, and obviously Naoya does not care about any of this. He's literally just deplorable. He's basically disowning his brothers, saying how pathetic they are. And obviously the GOAT himself, Choso, is not having any of this brotherly disrespect. So he hits him with that Takano Jutsu. It does not work. And it seems as though Choso gets the better of, Naoya, and obviously gets away. But Yuta comes in, dragging the lifeless body of Yuji, and of course, one-shots essentially Choso, and begins to essentially heal Naoya. They pretty much discuss, okay, I'm gonna need you to tell the higher-ups about Yuji's death, and I'm gonna heal you, obviously, but yeah. So that happens, they have the conversation. Then we get treated to a very nice little bit of flashback, and obviously foreshadowing as far as Yuji's origin. And we get this in a dream sequence, and obviously it's Kenjaku. For those who obviously know, and for those who don't know, it's Kenjaku. Spoiler alert, it's Kenjaku. So moving on, Yuta just pretty much informs Yuji as far as like the situation in staging his death and how it isn't the first time it happened, obviously. And the boy himself comes out of nowhere. The GOAT himself, Megumi, now head of the Zenin clan, officially is over here like, Yuji, you gotta stop feeling down on yourself. You gotta get out of this funk, man. We in this together. It ain't just your fault. It's also my fault. It's our fault. Which honestly, Megumi is spitting because he is the one who summoned Maharaga and caused a lot of the damage that happened in Shibuya inadvertently. And honestly, he deserved to feel bad for himself because it's like, bro, the way he be spamming Maharaga or at least spamming this freaking ritual to summon him is crazy work. Like, bro, he will try to summon this man at any chance he gets. And honestly, it's crazy to me that he's just now holding himself accountable for this. But yeah, and we pretty much get the introduction of the Culling Games and we get the rules and things that play before it even begins. And honestly, that's how we end this chapter. Honestly, I'm enjoying this little read along. Like, I enjoy talking about this. Obviously, I do enjoy Jujutsu Kaisen. You might be getting a lot more Jujutsu Kaisen content out of me aside from the reviews, obviously. But yeah, you let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. And you let me know if y'all ready for the Culling Games. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts on it. Y'all let me know when y'all want to see it animated and all those things. Peace.